On April 8, 2026, Spotify released Billions Club Live, a concert film featuring Bad Bunny, shot live in Tokyo at an event Spotify themselves organized and funded. Not a promoter, not a record label, Spotify. The streaming platform decided it was time to produce a live concert event, bring one of the world's biggest artists to Japan for his very first performance in Asia, film the entire thing, and then release it to the entire planet for free. Every single person with a Spotify account, or honestly even without one, could access it. No barrier, no paywall, nothing standing between the viewer and a 42-minute front row seat to something that, under normal circumstances, would have cost serious money to attend. Shh, turn the volume up, but keep it low. This is rap deepest secrets, the one place the labels can't control, exposing the codes, the cover-ups, the real cost of fame. Now back to the video. And the numbers proved that people showed up. Over 20 million plays in just days for a 42-minute film. That is not casual listening. That is people sitting down, plugging in their earphones, turning on noise cancellation, and committing. That is the kind of engagement that most artists spend entire careers chasing. And Spotify handed it to Bad Bunny, or Bad Bunny handed it to Spotify, depending on how one chooses to look at it. Here is where the story gets genuinely fascinating, because the details of Billions Club Live are not just impressive, they are almost absurd when laid out plainly. Bad Bunny performed his biggest songs on Spotify, not just big songs, the songs with over 1 billion streams each, his actual, certified, statistically proven most loved records. He performed them live in Tokyo for Japanese fans who, and this cannot be overstated, do not primarily speak Spanish. The entire concert film is in Spanish. Every word, every lyric, every spoken moment between songs, Spanish, delivered in Japan, consumed by 20 million people worldwide. And the crowd? Completely locked in. Because here is something the music industry keeps learning over and over again and somehow always acts surprised by. Language is not actually the barrier everyone pretends it is. Emotion is universal. Rhythm is universal. The feeling of being in a room with an artist who means something, that is universal. Bad Bunny did not need to translate a single word for Tokyo to feel every single one of them. The entire concert is in Spanish, performed in Japan, watched by 20 million people from everywhere, and somehow nobody needed subtitles to feel it. The name of the concert film is not random. Billions Club Live is a reference to a specific milestone, the point at which a song on Spotify crosses 1 billion streams. That is not a milestone most artists will ever reach. It is a number so large that it's genuinely difficult to contextualize. 1 billion plays of a single song. And Bad Bunny does not have one song in that club. He has multiple. The concert was billed as a celebration of that, a live showcase of the records that broke through the billion-stream ceiling, performed for a crowd that had collectively contributed to making those numbers real. It also marks his first time performing in Asia, which for someone who has sold out stadiums across North America, South America, and Europe is significant. Bad Bunny reaching Asia and doing so through a Spotify-organized event is not just a career milestone, it's a geographic expansion, a signal that wherever the music exists, eventually the performance follows, and Spotify was the one who made it happen, which raises a question that is worth sitting with. Why Tokyo? Why now? And why free? Let's be honest about what Spotify did here, because calling it a gift to fans is technically accurate and also deeply incomplete. Spotify organized a concert in Tokyo for one of the most bankable artists on Earth, filmed it professionally, and then released the footage globally at zero cost. That is not a company feeling generous. That is a company making a strategic investment and dressing it up in the language of fan appreciation. Every single one of those 20 million plays is a data point. every person who pressed play handed Spotify information: what they listened to, how long they stayed, whether they replayed certain parts, whether they went to stream Bad Bunny's catalog afterward. The concert film is, among other things, one of the most efficient audience research exercises in the history of the platform, and it costs the viewer nothing, which means the barrier to participation is essentially zero, which means the sample size is enormous, which means the data is incredibly valuable. Spotify also gets something else from this: proof. Proof that the platform is more than a music library. Proof that Spotify can produce events. Proof that it can bring the world's biggest artists to new markets and document it beautifully. That is not streaming infrastructure. That is entertainment industry ambition. And Billions Club Live is the first chapter of what that ambition looks like in practice. If the goal is to understand what is actually happening in the music industry, not the press releases, not the feel-good announcements, but the actual moves being made, then this channel is where that conversation lives. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications right now, because there is always another layer to these stories, and this channel is not going to miss it.
Here is the part of this story that almost nobody is framing correctly. Bad Bunny is from Puerto Rico, Spotify is headquartered in Stockholm, Sweden, the concert happened in Tokyo, Japan, the film was released to the world in Spanish, and it has 20 million plays. That sentence alone should stop people in their tracks, because what it describes is a form of cultural reach that did not exist, could not exist, even 15 years ago. A kid from an island in the Caribbean makes music in his native language, a European technology company decides to invest in him, and together they produce a live event in East Asia that the entire planet watches simultaneously, for free, within 48 hours of its release. The twist is not that there is something sinister going on. The twist is that this is what the music industry looks like now, and most people watching it happen do not fully realize how unprecedented it is. There are no borders in this story. There is no gatekeeping. There's no moment where someone said, "This artist from Puerto Rico singing in Spanish cannot reach Japan." The music just went everywhere, because it could. Because the infrastructure to make that happen now exists. And Spotify built that infrastructure, which is exactly why they are the ones standing next to Bad Bunny when the historic moments get filmed. It is not charity, it is not manipulation, it is something more interesting than both of those things. It is a company and an artist who each understood what the other one could offer, made a deal, and produced something that 20 million people wanted to watch, in Tokyo, in Spanish, for free. And that, somehow, is just how the world works now. Here's something that gets lost in all of the strategic analysis. Billions Club Live is apparently excellent. Not good for a free release or impressive given the circumstances, actually genuinely excellent. This is Bad Bunny performing the songs that broke records, live, in a room full of people who came from the other side of the world to be there. The production is professional, the energy is real, the set list is a greatest hits collection built from the songs that statistically more people have chosen to listen to than almost any other music on the platform. Noise cancellation on, eyes closed, 42 minutes. That is the recommendation. Not because a platform or a press release says so, but because what happened in that Tokyo arena, a Puerto Rican artist, a Japanese crowd, a billion-stream setlist, and a language that connected them all anyway, is actually worth experiencing. The music did something real. The numbers prove it. The 20 million plays prove it. And the fact that it is free means there's no reason to sleep on it. Puerto Rico to Japan, Spanish to the world, free to everyone. 20 million people already know this is worth their time, and now the story behind it is worth understanding too. Billions Club Live is not just a concert film. It is a case study in what happens when an artist has no ceiling, a platform has global ambition, and a crowd in Tokyo proves that music never needed a translation to begin with. If this breakdown added something to how the story looks, subscribe to the channel, share this with someone who has not pressed play yet, and come back for the next one. Because the music industry keeps making moves, and this channel is going to keep explaining exactly what those moves mean.